Well, hey there, team. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some more Stationeers as we continue to wrestle with this air conditioning unit. So I did a little bit of tripping over my tongue, but I also did a little bit of Googling, the Wikipedia of it and all that as well. I try my best not to resort to that because what about the engineers of old? Did they have a bloody Wikipedia article? It behooves you to try and fix the problem without referring to that sort of external thing. And if anything, you turn to your peers, which is the next point. You guys wrote some really interesting comments and you were all very, very helpful and helped shed some light on it. So that's what you should always do is turn to the brains trust of other so inclined people. But I also double checked some things and here's what I learned. One, the consensus seems to be that you should use a wall cooling unit because it's so much easier and less draw and appropriate for this room. Now, not to be difficult, but there's two paths you can take there. One is, yes, appreciate your advice, that's fantastic, let's do that. But two, so many people actually aren't familiar with this machine. They don't use it, they put it in the too hard basket, understandably, that's what I do. And that's why they would use the cooler unit. So the cooler unit, correct. The wall unit is much more compact and much more appropriate for this particular thing. But inside of the fact that that this thing hasn't seen a lot of use widely, I think that's the perfect reason to use it and persevere with it. So I'm not trying to be stubborn, but I'm just sort of like, hey, if you're all got your eyes on this and we're all collaborating together and watching, it makes more sense to actually explore the unused option. So this is what I was racking my brain about. Two parts. This fan is aesthetic, right? Dear developers, it looks pretty, it looks great. It is fundamentally misleading from a gameplay perspective and you should redesign the model, right? Because my intuition, along with plenty of commenters, is that this has some sort of exhaust or draw in, right? And it doesn't. That fan doesn't do anything. So when we redesign this, we're going to move this air conditioning unit externally, right? So I'm glad that we could figure, it took me a while funneling around to figure that out, but yes, 100% it is aesthetic. The other thing that threw me is apparently this coolant line, which they call waste, they should call it coolant, is apparently a closed loop coolant thing. Now I couldn't get my head around that because if you even refer back to the previous episode, I put that vent on, I turned it on, this pipe was empty, and then it drew in gas. I was like, how the fuck could this possibly be a closed loop coolant line if it's drawing from our flow? So I went and Googled and they have a bit of a proviso built in that if you don't have any gas present in the coolant loop, then the machine will automatically draw in 100 kPa to be coolant. I'd probably argue that you shouldn't do that. I can understand that the reason that mechanic exists is probably to help make this machine work a bit easier for those who aren't intuiting how to do it, like what I was doing, like fumbling through it. But you've built a tutorial device into like essentially an engineering purpose item. It doesn't make sense for it to draw in that gas. I get what they're doing. They're trying to populate the coolant area up to 100 kPa. And I found it personally misleading. I'm curious what you guys have to say. So that's my thoughts on it. So they're the sort of two flaws that I had with it. But once it's got over 100 kPa in this pipe, it won't draw any more in, and it's just a pass through at that point, and it does everything it can to maintain. So we're going to redesign this around that. We're probably going to inject pollutant in intentionally. From what I understand, it's just a heat exchange. It doesn't actually reverse, backwash any of the gas or anything like that. It purely is a closed coolant loop that they pump into if you don't have enough pressure. So there shouldn't be any problem with us putting pollutant into there manually. So that's one of the first things that we're going to do. And we'll have that external and we'll have a whole bunch of radiators tacked on. The other advantage of this thing is we're not going to have to necessarily use logic or anything because we'll just set it to 20 degrees. It shouldn't ever need to heat the system because this system is self-heating. The potatoes give off heat and the sun brings in heat as well. There's a greenhouse effect going through the glass. And the other thing that people pointed out is power draw. Power draw is significant on this. Now, I do have it backed onto a power controller by accident already. You can see there. Which might be good enough. I'm not sure. But there is a chance that we could short our system with the draw that this thing wants to take on. We didn't. The reason I doubt it is because I think if it was gonna just draw infinitely like we've done previously when we connect like that generator to that battery, it immediately blows the lines. It pushes everything it can. We had a full battery and we had this thing turned on. It's got a binary switch and it didn't blow the lines, right? So I'm kind of convinced it's not going to blow the lines, and at this power, it's not a transformer, it is still a converter, or controller rather. I'm not convinced that this will actually blow these cables, but we'll give it a go, and if it does, so it does, right? So, in my mind's eye, this is what we're probably going to do. We're going to reform the one by one, because why not? Let's, compact's fun. We're going to actually put the draw vent and the pass-through vent on this back wall here. The example they had on their Wikipedia had an active vent there. I don't think that matters in this case. We're not trying to super freeze this room, and it's not a large space. It's a very small space that we're just trying to keep at a constant temperature that's slowly creeping up, right? And to me, as long as that vent is passive and attached to the system, whatever's in that pipe is going to have the same temperature as the room. So if it creeps up to 21 degrees, it's going to populate into this pipe. That's going to cool it and pump it out. I'm all right with that. I'm pretty sure passive draw is going to be enough, right? So that's the layout. We're going to have two passive vents side by side there. We're going to run the pipes external. So we're going to knock this all down and we're going to set this thing up here, and we'll have our cooling loop out here as well. So that's the plan. I know we're backtracking a little bit, but that's the part. That's half the fun with this channel, and what I sort of try to do is explore and experiment. And yeah, I'm sure you will approve. It's not necessarily just about going, hey, I've got the right answer, implement it. I feel like, yeah, there's an opportunity here for us to do something really interesting that maybe some of you haven't played with yourselves. All right, so we're going to reestablish this window, which probably means we're going to need to deconstruct that. Alright, well that's clear out of the way. Problem is that we'll probably lose that atmosphere. Unless I could draw it down. The potatoes could live in vacuum for a little bit. I mean, we lose the batch, we lose the batch. Iron window, nice. Alright. We can put the sheet on. If I can find it. Alright, and the glass is what would go up. So let's just, let's save our atmosphere. Set outward, no, it's set to inward. Alright. We've still got little particles moving through. Well, it's probably drawing out the other side of the room. We'll just wait for all this particle activity to die down. How you guys going? Oh no, you can get harvested. Interesting that they don't like lose health or anything when they're in the harvest state. I might just leave them there for the moment like that. That's fine. Alright, let's implement this window. Cool. Can turn that off. In fact, I suppose we can keep this in a vacuum state for the moment. Okay. Yeah, that works. Still, I'll close this anyway. Good habits and all. Right. So, let's get the ball rolling. Let's just start pulling all this down. I should have built the vent in there, but that's okay. Alright. Yep, so we'll plonk the glass over there. Might keep these nearby because, you know, we always need those. Angle grinder. Probably should have done that with an empty hand, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay, so consider that we'll put the 2 vents on that wall, and then we'll run pipe along here. We'll probably want to do insulated pipe? Now there's a question. Yes, we would. We would. Yeah, insulated all the way up. Because ultimately the only real temperature differential I want is what's going into the pipe. Yeah, we want the pipe to read as the same temperature as the system. We could build it with the air conditioning unit on the inside, right? But also, part of me wants to just sort of empirically test that that little aesthetic fan doesn't do anything either. So we should be able to run that machine in a vacuum external to the system. You know, it's just one of those things that we like to test. What the fuck am I doing? I'm looking into insulated pipe. Now, was it that it needed silicon? It does. There's something that we haven't really played with in a while. So let's go for a bloody swim.
Jetpack on.
I should be able to eyeball it. It's kind of white. We haven't had a lot of call to use it at all, to be honest. Ah, bugger. Is that sun going down? It is. If we don't find any now, we'll have to get it the next day. Just continue our little victory lap. That's it, I can still kind of see. I think I might have the brightness on my monitor up just a little bit. From whatever it was I must have been playing that needed it, I don't know. What's that little white spot there?
Hunger. Caution.
Nothing. Yeah, look, I don't want to go too far away. That's alright, we'll save the adventure for daylight, eh? We've got plenty of other buildings to do. Oh. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, they have changed how things look in this, so I'll just double check it. Oh, it is silicon. Holy hell. It's a little bit sort of more blue, I guess. Come on, give us some. Are you serious? Come on, game. Don't tease a girl like this. Oh, this is unfair. Alright, whatever. 4 silicon. Lucky us. Where'd the base go? There it is. Oh, Jesus. Alright.
Jetpack on.
4 silicon might go a long way, actually, with pipe.
Jetpack on.
We will see. I think you have to smelt it. Jeez, I haven't used it in so long. I'm curious. Now how much? 1 per section. So we could make 4 sections of pipe with it. Not ideal. What gases does that give off? It's not really something I thought too hard about, eh? Oh.
Power low.
Yeah. Just having a bit of a feed. There it is. I was like, where's my silicon block? Okay. Get out of the way, pipes. Okay, so we're going to pop that there. It's cool how it's got that double look.
Jetpack on.
Now, like as said, there are better solutions to this. I understand that. The wall cooler. But it couldn't hurt to understand how this works, especially in lieu of the ore cooling room that we're going to make. It would probably be a good idea to have this, to be honest. What's the most efficient way we're going to be able to pull this off? If I put the two things there, where's my where is my other one?
Jetpack on.
Yeah, like if you sort of try and measure it up against this wall. Yeah, you can do it in thirds, right? 1, 2, right? So what we'll probably do,
Jetpack on.
yeah, is that we'll go 1, 2. All right.
Jetpack on.
And as far as, I mean, it has, ideally it'd be great if it was there. You know what I mean? You know what? There's no reason why, well, we can't put it on the roof. I'm an idiot. Okay. Right. That's how that's gonna go. I can't run over the top of that. The other thing is we are kind of clogging the bloody glass, aren't we, by doing it out here. I was going to move this machine up against the sort of wall, but that doesn't make sense. It probably should actually be there. I'm really loath to move that logic system. No, you know what? We'll leave it exactly where it is, to be honest. That's fine. Yeah, so we'll run that, and then we'll run this pipe up the other end. Now, the thing about this being a closed loop, there's only one point of ingress, you know what I mean? Loop is a bit of a deceptive term given the way that the gases behave. That right there is a loop, if you follow. What we will need to do is disconnect that pipe because we want to clear the gas that's in there because we're going to put our own coolant in there, right? So... Right. Now, as far as injecting the coolant, that's another story altogether. Is there going to be enough room to fit the... Did I end up building an extra dock and placing it? I don't know if I end up placing it, but we've got one over here. Which, like, I suppose I could just straight up disconnect this dock, right? Well, actually, no. I need to fill it with bloody exhaust. What are you doing, Scarlet? Think faster. Think better. All right. Let's inspect that while we're here. Did we end up putting any in this? No. No. In fact, we didn't complete this. I don't think we even put a pollutant filter in there. So we need to do that. Oh my goodness. So much to do, team. Alright. X. Maybe that's just called pollutant. Filter pollutant. Iron. Okay, that's fine. Look at that. Something's out of bloody the Acme company from Looney Tunes.
Jetpack on.
Alright. To be safe, I'm gonna fit that canister now, which should be empty. It is. Just to add more capacity to the line, because this thing pumped so aggressively, if you recall. Like, that's enough. I mean, 750 kPa, it's not a huge amount. 32 mole. That'll do to get the ball rolling. But what we will do, I was going to like potentially pull the tank filter down. Now, we will actually build one onto this so that we can add pollutant as required. So what is that thing called? Like a canister bloody pump thing? There it is, canister storage. Alright, so we can build one of them. Oh, Jesus Christ, stop. I accidentally grabbed that into my inventory. Did I turn it off? I did. Alright.
Jetpack
I don't like that. I don't like that hole at all. Alright, so... that might be more sensible like that. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting there now. We're getting there now. Alright. Silicon Adventures. Let's bloody go. Let's head this way. Get the old eagle eye on. Now here's the thing, for all my whinging about doing this for mining, if you have to do it infrequently enough, it's not so bad. And I can also see that like they're trying to build those buggies, you know, I guess they're trying to make it more interesting, overland travel in this game. But if you go back to our Lulan episode, I built one of their buggies, the vehicles, and drove around, and it's atrocious. It is probably the most broken thing in the whole game. It would fallen through the world. You see how the game populates in. Oh, here we go. Just constantly falling through the world and all that sort of stuff. So like I can get around if you wanted to turn it into sort of more adventure stuff, but you can't do it if you have to mine constantly as well. Alright. Are you fucking serious, game? Come on! Give me bloody 5 silicon at a time.
Jetpack on.
See, this is that water? No, it's oxide. I don't give a fuck about oxide. Alright, we've headed a long way out, so I'm just gonna cut a lap while I can still barely see my base popping in. Uranium. Oh yeah, there you go. There's something nice and useless. Cobalt. Gold. You're indestructible. Alright. I don't think 5 pipe is going to be quite enough. That's the problem. We need 1 more to finish that first line. And then the other one for... Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, geez Louise. It's a bloody treasure trove. Alright, well, we've got a 50 block out of that. So that's good. That's better than good. That's bloody grand. Alright. Go for a little jog. So I don't think we're going to quite finish the system. We're still going to need to build another passive vent. We'll do 7 for the moment.
Jetpack on.
Yeah, so we have to close that. We have to run this one out, which is going to be what, probably 4 lengths. Down another 2, and then 1 more. 4, 5, 6, 7 might do it actually. Yeah, 7 might end up doing it. And then we need to attach vents on the inside there. Oh, we should be good. Pipe. But yeah, this is a good inadvertent bloody practice run for the ore cooling depot, you know? At least we're getting faster with each go.
Jetpack on.
Oh, you know what? 7 plus 1 is probably what I was doing the math on. So we probably needed 8. Hey, my math was right. I just didn't account for finishing the other pipe. Okay, cool. Look at that. It's getting there. Yeah, attach the 2 vents. That'll create a cycle, essentially a closed cycle through the insulated pipe. So the only sort of exposure will be at the vent point inside the system, right? And we inject coolant into here, and we could potentially... I mean, it's not like I've got a valve to bleed it off or anything like that, but if the coolant's not strong enough, then we'll put more gas in there. In case it's not obvious, we're going to put a radiator there as well, and we can potentially extend the pipe, if only to give more surface area, more slots to install radiators. So we're going to, you know, it's not going to stay like this vanilla. It's going to be like over there, so we can get it down to bloody absolute zero. You know, it's ridiculous coolant. And, yeah. Man with a plan. Looking good. Thanks for all your help and your feedback, team. I love the collaborative stuff. As always, I took all your advice and went in a different direction, but I used that advice to push me in that direction and identify a blind spot almost in the entire community. A lot of us obviously don't use this machine very often, so it's going to be exciting to use it. And then we don't have to mess around with filters and bloody... Well, not filters, sorry. What I'm trying to say is like gas detectors, logic, like a whole bunch of logic. You'd have to have like a memory slot with the temperature to read and compare against the room. And I love that first principles stuff, but if everyone's already done it to death, we should do this. Anyway, cool. As always, team, let me know what you reckon. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you on the next one.